Okay, guys. Okay, wait a minute. All right, my skin is a little bit ashy. How are you guys doing? Skin is a little bit ashy. I should have put some cream on. Sorry about that, man. But bear with me, because I have a confession. I have a confession to make, man. My confession is you caught me. You caught me red-handed. You caught me red-handed, man. I can't keep this. I can't keep this lie going anymore. I am the Havana syndrome. For real. I'm not even kidding. So somebody on my YouTube let me know the other day that they were gonna NBC was gonna talk about something called the Havana syndrome, and the Havana syndrome is basically apparently uh, it's like being a targeted individual. So the funny thing is, the other day I was talking about having an exciting life, and just driving your car at 100 miles an hour, just jumping over the San Francisco bridge and landing that shit while a bunch of people, like a bunch of cops or maybe some of your enemies are chasing you, and you just land that shit and you just wham, you know what I mean? So they called it, and I have this tendency to dress up like as if I live in Monaco or some shit like that, right? Um, so they called it the Havana syndrome. And the funny thing is, they're saying like a bunch of people. If you go look it up, if you go it's quite funny. The wording is different. It's very suspicious. It's very weird. And even I looked it up on Google, and even the wording on what Havana syndrome is actually pretty funny. So basically, it's like the thing is, the funny part is, I was talking about that the other day, and when you look at the description of what the Havana syndrome is, it's like they're saying it's like being in a car, driving, being in the car and driving and swerving and shit like that, right? So it was kind of funny. So basically, I'm the Havana syndrome. That's Havana syndrome. That's me. If you hear the Havana syndrome, if somebody got Havana syndrome, that's a good thing. That means that person's alive. You know what I mean? That means that person is ready to go. He's locked and loaded. You know. It's very funny though that they put that. This is the kind of thing I was talking about. Like if you go check out my other channel, I made a video talking about beware the Noid. Wallace Noid is a young man that unfortunately gave his life, uh, you know, decades ago, actually. But he was targeted by the government. So basically, he was a special kid. He was a special kid, and he probably had a bright future. I don't know what kind of power that Wallace Noyd had. I don't know if he had telekinesis. Probably, I think he did. He had telekinesis. He had a whole bunch of powers, and pizza, pizza, Domino's Pizza had a cartoon character back in the '80s that was called Noid, and it was saying beware the Noid, and Wallace Noid kind of felt like this was targeted towards him. And if you look at Wallace Noid's picture, it kind of does look like him. Like if you put the little red thingamajig, you know, you know, character next to his face, it kind of looks like him. So he was saying that the news was targeting, like TV media spots was targeting him and trying to get people to stay away from him, right? So I made this video. It's not a joke. I didn't make the video in a joke type of shit. It's very serious. I called it "Beware the Noid" because that's what the commercial was saying. It was saying "Beware the Noid" because the character Noid, was actually stealing other people's pizzas. That's what the character used to do, and they recently brought him back. Somebody else on YouTube made a video about it, and I found it very interesting because I was already talking about that anyway, about how the government actually does know who you are, and they don't have anything else to do but to fuck with you. And most people think it's the complete opposite. Most people think that the government has so much things to do that they don't have time to fuck with you. That is a complete farce. That is the most blatant, ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. The government only has time to fuck with you. They don't have anything else to do. Most government officials stop working at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like 2 o'clock, they're gone there at their house. They don't finish at 4. The people that finish at 4 are people that work under the government officials. Like people at the bureau and shit like that. They finish at 4, and the people that work at 5 are functionaries. The functionaries, they got to file papers and they have to send papers everywhere. They finish at 5 or 6 or 9. Those guys finish late. But most government like bosses in the government section, you finish at 1 o'clock, nigga. Like they ain't got they have all the time in the world to fuck with you. They have all the time in the world to fuck with you, man. So now we have the Havana syndrome. I take it as a compliment though. Like I don't see it as being a bad thing. Maybe it's kind of a warning too at the same time. Like because they're kind of like it's popping up. They're saying like it's popping up everywhere. It's popping up everywhere in the country. There's this individual a little bit everywhere that's coming down with Havana syndrome. So that's good. That's a good thing. And that also correlates to what I was saying the other day about yes, they know who you are, but it doesn't matter. Just keep going. It doesn't matter. Just keep going. It's all a game. It's all well, it's not a game, but it's kind of like it's we are living life is more weird than it looks like. Like Noid didn't have to kill himself. Noid only killed himself because he didn't understand what was going on. That's why he killed himself. If he truly understood what was going on, if somebody had the knowledge or somebody had the time to explain to him what was going on, he wouldn't have killed himself. And you know, if I was alive when Noid was alive, he wouldn't have killed himself. He would have had more power. He would have became I don't know who. You know, he would have became part of the resistance. He was, he'd be fighting against a god and shit like that or something. I don't know, because I don't know why Wallace was targeted because I don't know. I don't know Wallace. I don't know who he is. And I unfortunately will never have the chance because he took his own life. Um, but so that's because the thing is when you don't understand when you think that all this shit is real, that's dangerous. You will hurt yourself, you'll hurt other people. It's dangerous. And in some cases it is real because people will come and try to intimidate you, people will try to fight you and shit. So in some cases it does become real, especially when you at you're too strong. When you're too strong, they have to come at you. You know what I mean? When you're getting too much strength, they got to reduce that strength. You know, I don't know why they need to do. They need to do that because God needs slaves. God doesn't need people that can think for themselves. So they have to destroy that high value that you have for yourself, right? And a lot of people will be glad to do that. They don't even do that for God. They'll do it because they're jealous, man. They'll do it just because. They do it just because, man. They don't even need to get paid. They'll do it just because they don't like the fact that you are who you are. So don't even don't think so. Yes, in some shape or form it's real, but the thing is, your immaterial powers are actually more real than your material powers. And that's the part that people get confused, and that's the part that people get mixed up in. um I might be, it might happen to me too. you know I'm not gonna lie, nobody's perfect. It might happen to me too, but I know that that I also went to the limit, and I know there's a source wall in the comic books. They called it the end of the universe. The end of the universe is called the source wall. That's the end of the universe. When you get to the end of the universe, that's called the source wall. Only Superman made it to the source wall. I've been to the source wall. I know what it looks like. It's legit. It's fucking real. It's a real fucking thing. You know what I mean? When you try to quantum leap and you're not supposed to be quantum leaping, if you're if you're not part of the Illuminati and you try to quantum leap, you going to you're gonna face the source wall. It's not nothing dangerous against you. It's just you're gonna see that your power is being blocked, like you're hitting a wall. Like you know what I mean? Like you just bam. And I'm talking about quantum leaping, right? Using water and all that shit. I did that shit, man. I tried to leap through time and space to arrive at another area, and everything was getting destroyed, just like in Inception. When the guy starts to wake up and the dream starts crumbling and shit, the same shit happened. Facts. Not even kidding. True fucking story. I mean, of course, the buildings wasn't crumbling, but I was noticing there was a lot of car crashes. There was a lot of car crashes. Things were like fumbling into each other and shit. I was fine, but I was looking at it. But the thing is, why I didn't continue and why I didn't complete the quantum leap is because, the people are still people. Even though there's some people that might be NPCs, non-playable characters, people are still people. There's still the thing about politics. There's a lot of people, a lot of spiritual people are like, fuck politics. I totally agree with you and I totally understand. But as a man of the people that I am, quite frankly, um, I can't bar that. I can't abide by that because I can't have people. I don't mind people that are afraid of my power. Be afraid of my power. That's a smart thing. But you can't be afraid of me ruling you. You know what I mean? You can't be afraid of me leading you. You can't be afraid of me having some sort of political weight, right? I can't have that, because if you're afraid of my leadership or you're afraid of, that's because you think I'm going to destroy the whole world and shit and you in it, and I can't really have that. So that's why I didn't continue on to the quantum leap into the other universe, because in the universe of major success, so I'd rather do it the old fashioned way, because that shit was scaring people, man. Like there was people in the street. Everybody knows, everybody's looking, especially in the hood. I don't know in the suburbs, but in the hood everybody looking, so everybody knows what's going on. So you best believe when people was, they knew that I was, because I'm a loudmouth. Well, I wasn't really a loudmouth, but I was quantum leaping and I was doing vibrational work at the same time. So I was talking and uh, I was trying to activate myself, through speech. So I was talking loudly. So a lot of people heard me, bro. So when people started seeing like car crashes on the news, or even when I was walking, people would crash into each other. That reflects badly on me. And the Illuminati knows politics because they've always been in politics. So those are scare tactics against your opponent. So if everybody sees that things are crashing around you, people are not gonna fuck with you like that, right? So I have to do it. I have to do it the old-fashioned way. I have to do it the old-fashioned way, man. Instead of using, magic and shit like that, and quantum leaping and all sorts of shit. So all those powers are very real. But for somebody that's not a conformist, that's not with God, or a conformist that's not with the Illuminati, you're gonna face the force wall, man. And the Illuminati didn't create the force wall, because this wall that I'm talking about, you're gonna feel it. Once you see it, you understand that this ain't just the Illuminati doing shit. Like this is a wall. Like this is a immaterial wall. This is like a dome, like in that TV show Lost, right? The invisible dome, right? So there's like a ceiling. You know what I mean? There's a glass dome. So you're kind of like, okay, that's not just Illuminati doing shit. This is massive. You know what I mean? A bunch of cars crash. Come on, dog. Like that's crazy. A bunch of white cars crash together and shit on the highway, right next to me. People know that shit. They watching to be like, yo, That's crazy shit. People will be like, yo, that's crazy shit. He might be cool and all, but you know, I can't be having that in my life, nigga. You know what I mean, bro? Like, I can't be having. I ain't got time for that, bro. I don't have time for that. So I completely understand that shit as a political person, as a businessman myself. I understand, you know, snake like business practices, right? So now that I know that that happened, I have to think about another way to gain people's trust and shit. Not that I have to gain people's trust, but yes, I do have to gain people's trust. I do have to gain people's trust. I must. I must, because I'm a businessman. I'm a man of the people. I got to do that shit, man. A lot of people are not down with that shit. A lot of people, like a lot of guys, are gonna be like, man, that's because you want to sell out. I'm not trying to sell out. I'm trying to be a businessman. I'm not trying to be a sellout. Just because you're a businessman, that doesn't mean you're a sellout. There's not a lot of sellouts out there, dude. A sellout is somebody that sells out. You know what I mean? That's not the same thing. There's a lot of business people. You know, the people at the bank aren't sellouts. They're just people that work at the bank. That's all it is. They're not sellouts. You know what I mean? A lawyer is not a sellout. He's just a guy that's a lawyer. You know, that's it just doesn't make any sense. That's called neurosis. That's anger towards humanity. That's fuck the world mentality. That's anarchist mentality. I don't have that kind of mentality. I might be a little bit rebellious, but that's why I have a business that involves music, people, spirituality, and all kinds of shit. You know, I don't have a business that's I don't have a sellout business. You know, I don't have a sellout business. You can't control me. You know, people that are sold out is people being controlled. You know, it's people that don't have time for you. It's people that don't have space for you. It's people that don't care about you. You know, that's selling out. That's a sellout business. You know, just because you have a business, that doesn't mean you sold out. So a lot of people don't respect that shit, man. Especially on YouTube, a lot of people don't respect that shit. I noticed that because, you know, when I do my shows, everybody's listening. My number counts goes up, and then as soon as I put on a nice pair of clothing, my number count goes down, and then you know it goes up again, and then I do a Lucifer's Lounge, and then it goes down again, and then it goes back up again, and then I do another Lucifer's Lounge, it goes back down again, and then it goes back up again. So y'all motherfuckers disrespectful as shit, and you guys are not motivated into doing things to better your life. A lot of people are kind of like, man, I want to live a simple life. I want to paint. I want to build things. I want to cut some wood and build some furniture and shit like that. You can do all that shit. You can do all that shit. You don't have to disrespect somebody else because he has another kind of talent, or you know he has another view on life. You don't have to disrespect him like that. You know. Um, so that's very disrespectful and very cold hearted. It's cold hearted and very disrespectful because I put a lot of money and effort into doing these things, and you know, and it's very disrespectful. It's very mean and disrespectful. Um, so, anyways, like I said before, you know, what was I talking about again, man? I don't remember, man. So, anyways, man, the Havana syndrome, bro. So that's another proof right there of my fantastical powers. You know, I am for real. A lot of people wanna you know they wanna have that Miami Vice lifestyle. I wanna have that Miami Vice lifestyle, man. I don't want this shit, man. This is freedom. Miami Vice lifestyle. That's freedom right there. That to me is freedom, man. It's freedom. It is freedom. It is freedom. It's straight up freedom because you know everybody's doing their own thing, and you know nobody is getting into. You know, it's, that's freedom right there. Right now, we're not in freedom. A lot of people don't realize it, and a lot of people don't even notice. But you're not free if you at a point where you're kind of like I just want to paint. It's because you're not free. It's because you're not comfortable being around other people. You're not comfortable being outside. You're not comfortable getting involved with other people in their business and getting other people involved in your business. And I'm not saying that you're wrong at all because there's a very clear reason why that is because you know shit is fucked up and a lot of people's minds are crazy. We got a lot of people that have a hive mind mentality, so those people are like NPCs. You can't really do shit with them. And then you have other people that want to be Illuminati to the fullest, And so those people, you can't work with them. And then there's other people that are confused and they don't know what's going on. You know, it's not their fault, but you can't work with them either because they don't feel like doing that shit. There's other people that might be a little bit lazy, so you can't work with them because they're lazy. They don't want to do that shit. So there's a lot of kind of people that you can't work with nowadays, right? So now you're kind of like, this is the reason why you're kind of like, man, you know what? Screw everybody. I'm gonna just paint and and I'm gonna just make some furniture and shit like that. I'm gonna just grow some tomatoes and shit like that, which is not a bad thing. But if we do that, we're regressing instead of progressing. We're going back to the Stone Age. You know what I mean? Instead of going back and going towards the future. We're not going back to the future. We're going back to the Stone Age. This ain't Fred Flintstone. This is McFly shit. This ain't Fred Flintstone shit. We already did the Fred Flintstone shit. Now it's supposed to be McFly shit. This is McFly's time, bro. Chicken. Chicken. Are you chicken? You know what I mean? So now we're supposed to be on the McFly shit. We ain't supposed to go on Fred Flintstone. We already did the Fred Flintstone thing, man. The '90s was Fred Flintstone. We didn't know shit. We was just banging rocks together to make fire. You know what I mean? And now we know how to make fire. We got iPhones. Back in the '90s, we were trying out all kinds of stupid garbage. We had like dumbass little fucking handheld video games and like low budget ass handheld video games with no color. There was barely any electronics in it. It was just like a digital image, just like a watch and shit, like a Timex watch, like those old school Timex watch, and the character would just jump. It would just be images, light flashing inside of image sockets and shit. It was garbage compared to right now. You got full 3D. That was us banging rocks together to see if we can find some fire. So the '90s was the Fred Flintstone era. Shit, we used to listen to Fred Flintstone in the '90s. That's when Fred Flintstone was the most popular. It was in the '90s, right? So right now we ain't in Fred Flintstone era, man. We in McFly. We're going back to the future. The fucking Rick and Morty, multiple dimension, universal traveling. That's what we're doing. A bunch of people are talking about drinking water to quantum leap and shit like that. What you think this is? This is Back to the Future shit. Back to the future. We're going forward and we can go backwards at the same time. Back in the future. You know what I mean? That's where we at right now. We on some McFly shit, man. Let's get it. Come on. So, subscribe to my channel. This has been Lucifer speaking, of course. Your favorite host with the most. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Peace out.